I can't keep making excuses for why my boyfriend works in IT support, she said, even lying that I was unemployed because she was embarrassed. She had no idea I just signed a deal that would change everything. I've been with my girlfriend Serena for 2 years. I work as an IT specialist at a mid-sized logistics company making $65K, which isn't amazing, but it's honest work, and I'm actually really good at it. I handle their entire network infrastructure, database management, and system optimization. Serena works in marketing at some trendy startup and makes about the same, but she's always been super image conscious about status and appearances. Like, obsessively so. The problem started about 6 months ago when she began making these little comments about my job. "Oh, Nicholas fixes computers," when introducing me to her friends, with this dismissive tone like I'm some Best Buy Geek Squad guy. Then it escalated to her asking when I'm going to get serious about my career and find something more professional. She kept pushing me to apply for sales jobs or business development roles because that's where the real money is. Every time I tried to explain that my work is actually complex, she'd just nod politely and change the subject. It was like she'd already decided my career wasn't worth understanding. Last month at her friend Jessica's birthday party, I overheard her talking to a group of people about careers and salaries. Someone asked what I do for work, and Serena said, "Oh, he's between jobs right now, exploring his options." I was standing right there, holding her drink while she socialized. When I confronted her later in the car, she said she was protecting my privacy, and that I should be grateful she didn't tell them the truth about my dead-end tech job. That stung like a knife to the chest, but here's where it gets absolutely crazy. For the past 8 months, I've been working nights and weekends on a side project, a warehouse management system that I built from scratch. I made sure to develop it entirely on my own time, using my personal equipment, and keeping it completely separate from my day job to avoid any IP complications. It started as just a way to improve efficiency concepts I'd observed in logistics operations, but I realized the core prototype could be revolutionary for mid to large companies. I've been putting in 20 to 30 hours a week on this thing, learning frameworks, studying supply chain optimization, testing algorithms. Serena knew I was working on some coding project, but never asked for details. When I tried to explain it once, she said, "That's nice, honey, but when are you going to focus on getting a real promotion?" 3 weeks ago, I got contacted by Thomas Chandler, CEO of Technova Corp. They'd heard about my prototype through industry connections and wanted a demo. I was nervous as hell, but the presentation went incredibly well. Long story short, they bought the rights to the prototype and my expertise to develop it into a full commercial system for $1.6 million, plus a senior consultant position at $200K annually to lead the development. I signed the contracts last Friday. The money hits my account next week. I haven't told Serena yet. Meanwhile, she's been ramping up the pressure about my lack of ambition. Yesterday she said, "Nicholas, I love you, but I need to know you're going somewhere in life. My friends are dating lawyers, doctors, finance guys making 6 figures. I can't keep making excuses for why my boyfriend works in IT support." When I tried to explain again that my work is more complex than that, she cut me off and said, "When you start making real money, then we can talk about your career." Here's the kicker that makes this whole situation insane. I just found out Technova Corp acquired Serena's startup last week. She's been celebrating all week about joining a real company and keeps talking about their Christmas party next month where she'll finally get to network with successful people and executives who matter. I'm invited to that party as Technova's new senior consultant. She has no idea. Part of me wants to tell her about the deal and my new position, but honestly, after months of her treating me like an embarrassment, like I'm some loser she's settling for, I'm not feeling very generous. The way she's been talking about me to her friends, lying about my employment status, acting like she's doing me a favor by staying with me. Am I crazy for feeling like she doesn't deserve to know? Like maybe she should find out the same way everyone else does. I love her, or at least I love who I thought she was, but I'm realizing I don't like who she becomes around money and status. And I definitely don't like who I become when I'm constantly defending my worth to someone who's supposed to be my partner. What would you do? Should I tell her before the party? Should I let her find out naturally? Part of me thinks she deserves to know, but part of me thinks she's already made her opinion of me clear. Edit. For those asking, yes, the Christmas party is in 10 days. Yes, I'm definitely going. No, I haven't decided whether to tell her beforehand. Update 1. Posted 2 weeks ago, so I took Reddit's advice and decided to let the Christmas party play out naturally. I didn't tell Serena about the Technova deal or my new position. I just said I'd try to make it to her company party if I could get off work early. The week leading up to the party was torture. Serena was so excited, talking nonstop about how this was her chance to network with real executives and finally be around successful people who understand ambition. She spent hours planning her outfit, bought this expensive black dress specifically for the occasion, got her hair and nails done. Meanwhile, I was having daily meetings with the Technova development team, planning the rollout of my system across their entire warehouse network. The irony was killing me. The day before the party, Serena came home from work absolutely glowing. She'd been getting briefings about the new parent company and was telling me about all the important people who would be there. Then she looked at me in my decent but not expensive suit and said something that still makes my stomach turn. You know what, Nicholas? Maybe it's better if you don't come tomorrow night. I don't want to spend the whole evening explaining your situation to people who could be important connections for my career. These aren't just coworkers. These are executives, department heads, people who matter. I need to make the right impression. My stomach dropped through the floor. 2 years together and she was disinviting me from her company party because she was embarrassed by my existence. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. I just nodded and said, "Okay, if that's what you want." She actually looked relieved. "It's not personal, baby, it's just business, you understand." No, I really didn't understand. The next evening I got dressed up anyway. My best suit, new shoes I'd bought with my signing bonus, the works. Serena had already left, assuming I was staying home playing video games or whatever she thought unemployed people do. I drove to the venue, this upscale hotel ballroom downtown, the kind of place that probably costs more per night than I used to make in a month. When I walked in, the first person I saw was Thomas Chandler near the entrance, talking to a group of executives. The moment he spotted me, his face lit up with this huge grin. "Nicholas, there's my star consultant. Perfect timing. Come on, I want to introduce you to the leadership team." For the next hour, I was the guy at this party. Thomas kept introducing me as the brilliant mind behind our logistics revolution and the consultant who's going to save us millions annually. People were genuinely interested in my work, asking technical questions about the AI algorithms, wanting to discuss implementation strategies for their own departments. I was in the middle of explaining machine learning optimization to the VP of operations when I spotted Serena across the room. She was with a group of her new marketing coworkers, wine glass in hand, looking polished and professional. I watched her scan the crowd, probably looking for executives to schmooze. Then she saw me, standing there in a circle of C-suite executives, gesturing animatedly while they hung on my every word. The look on her face was pure confusion. Her head tilted slightly, like she was trying to solve a puzzle. She couldn't figure out why I was there, why I was dressed so well, or why important people were actually listening to me instead of politely excusing themselves. I watched her excuse herself from her group and start walking toward me, but she kept getting intercepted by people who wanted to talk shop with me. Every few steps, someone else would pull me into a conversation about warehouse automation or supply chain optimization. That's when Thomas clapped me on the shoulder and said, loud enough for half the room to hear, "Nicholas, I still can't believe we got so lucky finding you. That warehouse management prototype is going to transform our entire operation once we scale it up. Best $1.6 million we've ever spent on future potential." Serena stopped dead in her tracks about 15 feet away. I could see her brain trying to process what she just heard. Her mouth actually fell open slightly. Thomas continued, completely oblivious to the drama he was creating. And having you as our senior consultant at $200K annually to lead this development, honestly, we should be paying you more. Then he noticed Serena standing there looking like she'd seen a ghost. Oh, and you must be Serena. Nicholas has mentioned you. You must be so proud of this guy. He's absolutely brilliant. I will never forget the look on Serena's face. It went from confusion to shock to something that looked like panic. She managed to stammer out, "Yes, very, very proud." But her voice was shaking and she looked like she might throw up. The rest of the party was absolutely surreal. Word spread quickly about who I was and what I'd accomplished. People kept approaching me to congratulate me, ask about my background, discuss potential collaborations with their departments. The CFO wanted to talk about cost savings projections. The head of IT was fascinated by my technical approach. I felt like a completely different person than the guy Serena had been ashamed of for months. Meanwhile, Serena kept trying to get close enough to talk to me, but there was always someone else wanting to discuss business or ask technical questions. Every time she approached our group, I was deep in conversation with another executive or department head. She'd hover on the periphery for a few minutes, then drift away when she realized she couldn't interrupt. Around 10 p.m., the crowd was starting to thin out and she finally cornered me by the bar. Her first words were, "Why didn't you tell me?" I looked at her, really looked at her, and said, "Tell you what? About my dead-end tech job that you're too embarrassed to explain to successful people." She went pale. "Nicholas, that's not fair. I had no idea you were working on something like this. You never asked. You were too busy being ashamed of what you thought I did for a living." "I wasn't ashamed, you told people I was unemployed, Serena. You disinvited me from your company party because you didn't want to explain my situation to people who matter." We stood there in silence for a moment while the weight of that sank in. Then she said, "We need to talk about this at home. This changes everything." "Yeah," I said, finishing my drink. "We really do need to talk." I left the party feeling like I was walking on air, but also incredibly sad, because I realized that night that the woman I love doesn't actually know me at all. She fell in love with an image of who she thought I could become, not who I actually am. Edit. To answer the most common questions, yes, I really did make $1.06 from the prototype sale. Yes, the $200K consulting position is real. No, I'm not giving her another chance just because she found out I have money now. You guys taught me better than that. For those asking about my work, I spent 8 months building machine learning models that predict optimal inventory levels, automate reorder scheduling, and optimize warehouse layouts for maximum efficiency. It's not magic, just good math and lots of testing. Update 2. Posted 1 week ago. The conversation when we got home was something else entirely. I've never seen someone's personality do such a complete 180 so quickly. Serena started off apologetic, saying she never meant to hurt me and that she was just worried about our future together. But within minutes, the real conversation started, and it was fucking wild. "Nicholas, this changes everything," she said, pacing around our living room like she was planning a business merger. "We can finally have the life I've been dreaming about. We can get that downtown apartment I showed you, plan the wedding I've always wanted, maybe even look at houses in the suburbs." Wedding. We talked about marriage in vague, someday terms, but suddenly she was ready to walk down the aisle because my bank account got bigger. I asked her directly, "Serena, would you be talking about marriage if I was still making $65K at my old job?" She got defensive immediately. "That's not the point. You're successful now. You're ambitious. This is the man I fell in love with. But I'm the exact same person I was last week when you disinvited me from your party." That's when the mask really started slipping. "Nicholas, be realistic here. I work in marketing. Appearances matter in my industry. My career depends on networking and professional relationships. Having a boyfriend who works in IT support doesn't exactly open doors or create opportunities. I was never IT support. You never bothered to understand what I actually do." "You know what I mean," she said, waving her hand dismissively. "Look, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, but I was thinking about our future. I was being practical. Now that you're with Technova and making real money, everything's different. We can be the power couple I always knew we could be." The more we talked, the clearer it became. She wasn't sorry for how she treated me, she was sorry she misjudged my earning potential. She actually said, "If you had just told me what you were working on, I could have been more supportive." So I asked the question that had been eating at me all week. What if the Technova deal hadn't happened? What if I was still making $65K? "Would you still want to be with me?" She couldn't answer. Just sat there looking uncomfortable, fidgeting with her wine glass. "What if I lost this job tomorrow and went back to my old salary? Would you still want to marry me then?" Still nothing. The silence stretched on for what felt like forever. "That's what I thought," I finally said. The next few days were incredibly tense. She kept trying to act like everything was normal, making my favorite dinners, being extra affectionate, suggesting weekend trips we could take now that we had the money for it. But I could see her looking at me differently. Not with love or pride in who I am, but with this calculating look, like she was reassessing my market value. Then yesterday, things got really weird. Her friend Jessica, birthday party girl, texted me directly out of nowhere. "Hey Nicholas, Serena told us about your amazing success. We should all hang out soon. Maybe you could give my boyfriend some career advice." Then Ashley, another friend from her circle who used to barely acknowledge my existence, sent me a LinkedIn request with a message about exploring potential business opportunities and asking if I'd be interested in consulting for her company. Even Marcus, this finance bro from her friend group who used to act like I was invisible whenever we hung out, suddenly wanted to grab drinks and talk shop about the tech industry. These are the exact same people Serena told I was unemployed, the same people she was protecting from the embarrassment of meeting her loser boyfriend. Now they all want to be my best friend. When I showed Serena the messages, instead of being embarrassed or apologetic, she actually got excited. "See, I told you this would open doors for us socially. We should definitely start hanging out with them more." This is how networking works at our level now. Our level, these are your friends who you were protecting from my embarrassing unemployment status. Nicholas, don't be petty about this. This is business. This is how success works in the real world. You have to understand the social dynamics. That word petty. Like having feelings about being lied about and hidden away like a dirty secret is just me being small-minded and vindictive. I've been staying at my buddy Mike's place for the past 3 nights, just to clear my head and think things through. Serena keeps texting every few hours, asking when I'm coming home, saying we need to work through this together and figure out our future as a team. But here's what's really messing with my head. I can see how easy it would be to just go back. Accept her apology, enjoy being the successful power couple, let her plan that wedding she mentioned. Start hanging out with her friends who suddenly think I'm worth their time. Part of me wants that life, wants to be the guy who won. But I keep thinking about what you guys said in the first post. The person who loves you doesn't hide you away. They don't lie about you to make themselves look better. They don't disinvite you from important events because they're embarrassed by your existence. And they definitely don't suddenly want to plan a wedding because your bank account balance changed. I think I know what I have to do, but it's scary as hell. This isn't just about Serena anymore. It's about who I want to be and what kind of relationship I deserve. Do I want someone who loves me for my potential, or someone who loves me for who I actually am? Edit. For those asking about my family, my parents have been married 35 years and were never impressed by money or status. They raised me to value character and integrity over material success. They would be disgusted by Serena's behavior. Yes, I'm really staying at Mike's. No, I haven't been answering Serena's calls. Yes, I'm seriously considering ending it. This whole situation has opened my eyes to who she really is. Final update. Posted 3 days ago after staying at Mike's for a few days. I went back to the apartment yesterday to pack my things and have the final conversation with Serena. I'd made my decision, but I wanted to give her one last chance to show me who she really was. She was waiting for me with this whole elaborate setup, candles everywhere, my favorite dinner cooking, wearing this dress I'd always loved on her. The full romantic treatment. Before I could even put my keys down, she launched into this prepared speech about how we can get past this, and every couple has challenges, and how this whole experience has made us stronger as partners. Then she pulled out her phone and showed me something that made my blood run cold. She'd been posting on social media about my brilliant boyfriend's incredible success, and so proud of my man for achieving his dreams. Photos of us from months ago with captions like, "Always knew he was destined for greatness," and power couple vibes. The same woman who told people I was unemployed 3 weeks ago was now claiming credit for my success on Instagram and Facebook. "Serena," I said, setting down my bag, "I can't do this anymore." She immediately shifted tactics. The confident celebration turned into tears, saying she'd made mistakes but that she loved me and wanted to grow together. Then came the promises she'd be more supportive. She understood now how wrong she'd been. She'd never doubt me again. "What if I lose this job?" I asked her. "What if Technova fires me tomorrow and I'm back to making $65K at some other company?" "That won't happen," she said quickly. "You're too talented, too valuable now." "But what if it did? What if I got sick or injured or the economy crashed? What if I never make this kind of money again?" She couldn't look me in the eye. "We'll cross that bridge when we come to it." There it was. Even after everything, she still couldn't say she'd love me without the money. "I'm moving out," I told her. That's when she got angry. Really, truly angry. Started screaming about how I was throwing away 2 years and how I'd never find someone who loves me like she does. Called me ungrateful for not appreciating how she'd supported my career by pushing me to be more ambitious. The most telling moment was when she shouted, "You think you can do better than me? You're still just an IT guy who got lucky. Without me pushing you, you'd still be fixing computers for $65K. There it was. Her real opinion of me, even after the $1.06 deal, even after seeing executives respect my work, even after everything. I was still just an IT guy who got lucky in her mind. I packed my essentials and left while she was still yelling. "I'm moving in with Mike temporarily while I apartment hunt. Already found an amazing place downtown that I'm putting an offer on tomorrow. Never thought I'd be able to afford something like that, but here we are." The weirdest part has been the aftermath. Several of Serena's friends have reached out to me individually, some apologizing for their previous behavior, others clearly fishing for networking opportunities or business connections. I've politely declined all of them. Thomas and the Technova team have been incredible. They keep telling me how excited they are to have me on board, and we're already working on expanding the prototype system to full commercial scale across multiple divisions. It's the most intellectually fulfilling work I've ever done. As for Serena, I heard through mutual friends that she's been telling people I changed because of the money and became arrogant and materialistic. The irony is absolutely not lost on me, but I could live with that. I'm 28 years old, financially secure for the first time in my life, and finally free from someone who made me feel like I wasn't enough just as I am. It's scary starting over, but also liberating as hell. Thanks for keeping me sane through all this, Reddit. You guys helped me see what I couldn't see myself.